Today, I am so excited to be sharing 3 recipes with you that I think would be perfect for Easter. Of course, if you're not celebrating Easter, you can still make and enjoy these, but I just thought these would be really fun for Easter brunch or lunch. These will also be good for Mother's Day coming up. So, I'm really excited for all of them, but the last one is a really, really, really special recipe for me. It is a family recipe that I veganized through the help of my grandma, so it's a really special one, and if you're Italian, I hope that you'll recognize it. As always, the full read out recipes are on my blog, planfullybasedblog.com. I put links in the description box for them. I write the ingredients of each recipe in the description box, and I link anything that I think you may need for these recipes. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get cooking. These colorful vegan deviled eggs are so beautiful. They will be gorgeous on any table. So we're going to start off by boiling 1 Yukon Gold potato. I am just going to peel the skin off, and then I will cut it into small pieces and boil it. This is actually going to be our filling for the vegan deviled eggs. So now we're going to work on our colors of the bases. We're going to use spinach to make it green, so put it in the blender with some non-dairy milk and water and blend it up. Now in hindsight, I should have just put the yogurt and the agar powder in there, but I didn't, but it's fine. So I blended it up, and then I'm just going to add in a little bit more water, and then we're going to add in the vegan yogurt. I'm using Foragers. The first time I made these, I used Kite Hill vegan yogurt, and I like that better with this, but the Forager's good too. And then we're going to use agar powder, which is what is going to give this a sort of egg white like consistency. It sets it. It's a alternative for vegan gelatin. So whisk this all up, let this cook on the stove for about 5 to 10 minutes, whisking continuously, and this is going to make our little green deviled egg. So I'm just going to pour it into my little egg molds. And because I knew I was going to make a few different colors, I just made small batches. So if you want to make more, then just up the amount of the ingredients on the blog post. And if you make one a little too high, then you can just scoop some of the liquid in. So then here I got a little bit smarter. We're going to do all those ingredients again, but we're going to do beet juice instead this time. I'm just taking the juice in this packet of beets, blending that up, cooking it again on the stove. And then I just made the white ones as well, like the regular ones. So super simple, same thing, and we're just not going to add in anything to give it color. You're going to cook both of them on the stove again in the same process, and then you will pour it into the molds. And of course, there are so many fun ways to dye these. You could use spirulina, you could use turmeric, you could use carrot juice, make all different colors. And if you have any foamy parts, just scoop that off with a spoon, because it's just not going to set right. It's just going to look weird on top. We don't want that foam and bubbles there. And I'm going to place these in the fridge for an hour, and then I'm just going to pour my white ones out. And super simple, and I loved all the colors together. I think they're so cute, so pretty, and it's a lot of fun. In the meantime, we're going to mash up our potato, and we want to mash it up really well. And then we're going to add in a bunch of seasonings like salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, turmeric, and nutritional yeast. This is just going to give lots of flavor. And we're going to add in some vegan mayo, and you can just use a whisk actually to really mix this up and incorporate it. It may get stuck in the whisk, that's okay, just scrape it off. And then I'm going to transfer this into a piping bag with a star tip, so that way we can make beautiful little vegan deviled eggs. And this is so fun, so delicious. So if you saw my vegan deviled egg recipe, it's very similar. There's not really any difference at all actually, just that we're making some colors. So then we can just pop these out of the mold. Be careful because they are slippery little suckers, okay? They like pop out and they go flying. It's actually a lot of fun to pop them out, but just be careful because we don't want them to go on the floor or anything. Look, it just like pops out. It's so funny. Whoop, there it goes. Okay, so then all we have to do is just add our little deviled egg filling on top. If you want to scoop out a hole, you can, but honestly, I just didn't feel like it was necessary to waste that part of the vegan egg white. So I just put it on top and it works out just fine. And it just looks so pretty. I really loved how these all looked on the plate. I thought they looked so fun. And then I'm just going to add some paprika, salt, pepper, and chives on top. Of course, you could add anything you want. I actually really wanted to get some little flowers to put on there. I thought that would have been cute, but I couldn't find any that I liked, like a little piece of baby's breath or something. You could do scallions, you could do a little piece of dill. And yeah, these are really delicious. They are soft, kind of like egg whites on the outside, and lots of flavor on that filling. This vegan caprese pasta salad is so good. So first, before you even make the pasta salad, you need to prepare your little vegan mozzarella balls. And this is again another recipe that I have shared before, but I'm going to show you again. So you need 2 blocks of extra firm tofu, cut it in half, and then you could make the vegan mozzarella balls as big or as small as you like. When I originally shared this recipe, I used a melon baller, but for this specific pasta salad, I wanted little ones. So I used a 1/4 teaspoon. Look how cute they are. They're very similar size to like the mozzarella pearls that you can find in the store, and they're adorable. So I did this to 2 blocks of tofu. Now you will have a decent amount of tofu left over. Use it for stir fries, tofu scramble. You can make more little vegan mozzarella balls. Just don't get rid of it. I made vegan egg salad with it. It was great. So then we're going to add in some non-dairy milk, olive oil, salt, and water into our container. This container is really good for this because it has a strainer in it, so then I can just pop these out. It's really awesome. So that's it. Put this in the fridge overnight or like up to 2 days in advance, and we'll see them tomorrow. Now it's the next day, so we're gonna make our pasta salad. I'm using farfalle, bow ties. I'm using the Barilla protein pasta, cooking that according to package directions, and then I will let it cool for like 10 minutes. Gonna have some grape tomatoes, and then I'm going to give a rough chiffonade on this basil. I rolled it up and I just kind of cut it into little pieces, but nothing was exact or precise. And then our little vegan mozzarella balls are all done. It's been 24 hours and they are so cute and perfect. And if you're skeptical of this, tofu is actually made in a very similar way to cheese, so it lends itself really well to something like this. In a large bowl, we're going to add that cooled down pasta with the tomatoes, the vegan mozzarella balls, and the basil. And then this is a very simple salad. Okay, it's a very simple pasta salad. We're just going to do olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and balsamic glaze. Balsamic glaze is a very sweet, thick balsamic vinegar. And as you can see, it's nice and thick. That's why it's called a glaze. It's been reduced down. It adds in so much flavor. It's so good. And then we're going to do a little salt and pepper in there. And that's it. You don't need to add a lot to this. You don't need to go crazy with seasonings. It is better for it to just be nice and simple. And then just mix it all up. You can either enjoy this right away. Honestly, I kind of like it sometimes when the pasta salad is a little bit warm, or you can put it in the fridge, cover it, and eat it when you want. So it's totally up to you. But either way, this is so fun, so delicious. I love, love, love pasta salad, especially in the months that are coming up where it's going to get a little bit warmer. So good. Pizza rustica is a very traditional Italian dish for Easter and something I have wanted to veganize for years, and I'm so glad we did. So we're going to start by making a pie crust. Very simple. We're going to just mix up some flour, salt, sugar, all-purpose flour. Then I have nice cold vegan butter. I'm using Country Crock plant olive oil butter, and I'm opening it carefully because I just want to save that wrapper. I'm going to cut it into pieces and just pop it into the food processor. And you can of course make this by hand too, the dough, but I find it much easier in the food processor. I have a 6-inch springform pan, and I am just going to grease that with the vegan butter paper. And then we're going to start to gently pulse the dough, and then I will stream in cold water, and that is what is going to mix it up all together. And I'm just going to keep pulsing until it forms itself into a ball. You'll see it happens here very quickly, and there we go. Super simple, easy to do, and that's why it's a lot better in the food processor. Okay, so then I'm just going to use my hands to just kind of knead it a little bit, just help it come together a little bit more. And then I'm going to divide it into 2 balls, kind of almost like 2/3 and 1/3, one bigger one smaller one, because one's going to be for the bottom of the pan and then one's going to be for the top of the pie. So I'm just forming those into balls. We're going to pop those in the fridge to chill for like 15 minutes while we work on everything else. Now we're going to make some tofu ricotta. This is another recipe I have shared countless times. It's so simple. You just need a block of firm tofu. I'm popping this right in the food processor, and then we just need salt, nutritional yeast, and a little non-dairy milk. Yes, it is that simple. Ricotta is a very simple cheese. It is very plain. It is very simple. I see a lot of people add in so many things to their vegan ricotta that are, in my opinion, unnecessary. So I'm just going to mix this up, pulse it until it forms into a nice ricotta-like texture. It should be thick, have a little bit of clumps in there. You want to still have a little bit of texture. We don't want this to be completely smooth. And I'm scraping down the sides of the food processor as I go. If you don't want to make homemade, you can always use like the Kite Hill vegan ricotta or something, but it's so simple to make homemade. Now we need a few varieties of vegan meat. So just take what you can find in the store. I'm using these ones here, and I'm going to chop it into pieces. I did more of the bologna and the pepperoni than the peppery one, so it's whatever you can find. I was talking to my grandma about this recipe because This is kind of her recipe, and my great grandma's recipe is veganized. And, you know, it's not very strict. It's kind of just whatever you find. And every family kind of does this differently. And obviously, being vegan, we already have constraints. So it's just about what you can find. But if you can find something a little spicy, a little peppery, a little bit salty, it's just so we have variety within the pizza rustica. And then I'm just going to chop it into pretty small pieces because we want this to just be scattered without. And if you've never had or heard of pizza rustica, it is, like I said, a very traditional Italian Easter dish. It is very heavy because there's all the meats, the cheese, the egg. There's a lot going on there, and it took me a little while to figure out how to veganize it, but I got something really good, and it's so delicious. So now in a big bowl, we are just going to add in all the tofu ricotta, and then we will add in the vegan meats as well. And I'm just scraping every last bit of that ricotta out into the bowl because we need all of it. We're going to add in some mozzarella. Again, every family may do this differently. If your family does Parmesan or something, add in vegan parm. Then we're going to do a vegan just egg. I don't recommend using like a flax or a chia egg for this. You need kind of more like an eggy vegan egg, if that makes sense. Salt, pepper, and sugar. Again, the sugar preference is going to come down to kind of maybe what your family has done or what you know. My family, it's always a little bit sweeter. There's always a little sweetness to counteract all that saltiness. So there you go. Mix it all up. Delicious. Now we're going to roll our dough balls out. So this is the bigger one. I am rolling and rotating. So we get approximately between a 10 to 12 inch circle. This will make a smaller pizza rustica, of course, but because it was just me, I did not need a 8 or 9 inch one. If you are serving a lot of people and you want to make it bigger, on the blog post, you can change the size of your pan and then it will update the ingredients. So I'm pressing that all in, and then I let the pieces overhang. I'm going to add in all the filling, and I'm just going to spread it out. Then I will take those overhang pieces and I will fold them over top of the pizza rustica. And I'm just folding it and pressing it. Now, if you want to just leave it like this on top, you probably could. It's fine. But we had the other dough ball and I wanted this to look pretty. So I rolled it out to be a little bit smaller because we don't need it as big now. Maybe like 7 inches. So there's a slight overhang. I pressed it down, and then I did my best to make a fluted edge. I am not the best at it, but I still wanted this to look as pretty as I could. So I just pressed it. And because we're baking it in the springform pan, all of this is just going to come together nicely. So you can see I'm kind of like doing the pinching knuckle method. It's not the prettiest, but I think it came out good enough. You could also just crimp the edges if you want, do what you want. And if you want to use like a shallower pie pan, you definitely can as well, but I really love the height. I'm brushing a little bit more vegan just egg on there, and this is going in the oven at 350 Fahrenheit for about 50 to 60 minutes. It will be nice and golden brown. You're going to let it cool for a half hour. Remove the ring mold and let it cool for another hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay, I know it sucks to wait. Then I'm just going to take the base off and we can finally cut into this. Pizza rustica is either enjoyed at room temperature or cold. It's a great picnic food as well. And the best part is cutting into it. And if you've never had this and you're skeptical, just try it. It's so good. It's kind of like a calzone on the inside because of the ricotta, the vegan ricotta in our case. And it's just delicious. And I just remember growing up and looking forward to it, and I was so excited to make this recipe. My grandma really helped me out a lot with explaining to me how my family has done it throughout the years, and I'm so happy with it. I chose not to garnish with anything because I don't think it needs it. Just let the beautiful pie crust and the filling speak for itself. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. Obviously, even if you don't celebrate Easter, these are delicious for any time of year, and I hope you all are doing well. Let me know if you make them, and I'll see you soon with more recipes. Bye!